So the Bengals are currently 7-4 when I make this video. And next week they play against the Kansas City Chiefs, which is definitely going to be a marquee matchup, especially since they played in the AFC Championship game. Bengals won that game. I already made 2 videos on the Bengals. These are the 2 videos that I did. But I'm still going to do this video because I did those 2 videos in the preseason. So I didn't really get to do a video on the Bengals based on how they're doing this season. So this is pretty much that video. Obviously, you got Joe Burrow at quarterback. We'll take a quick look at his abilities. He has run and gun, his superstar X Factor. He has sideline deadeye, and he's got a couple other abilities too. Joe Mixon also has abilities. He has armbar and bulldozer. Armbar makes him do really good stiff arms, and bulldozer makes him, well, bulldoze opponents. And at wide receiver, you got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. Jamar Chase should honestly be an X Factor, but he only has runoff elite and mid-in elite. But honestly, he needs to have an X Factor. He's like arguably a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, and I think he's deserving of one. Their tight end, Hayden Hurst, is pretty solid. Their offensive line, which was a huge problem last year, has been fixed up enough to be considered competent because Joe Burrow's not taking nearly as many sacks as he did the year prior. So they made the Super Bowl last year, but honestly, they're probably a better team this year than they were last year because they got kind of lucky last year in some of the games that they did in the playoffs. Look at Jesse Bates' abilities there. So yeah, this team might be even better than they were, and they went to the Super Bowl last year. So yeah, we gotta watch out for them because they will definitely be a tough out in the playoffs, assuming that they even get beaten in the playoffs. We'll have to see about that. Our only game that we'll be playing will be against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns actually beat the Bengals pretty bad on Monday night a couple of weeks ago. And ever since then, Bengals have really stepped it up in their game. And yeah, they've been playing way better football since that game. So the Browns are kind of the team that helped catapult them to how they're playing now. The things that make this team dangerous is you have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Joe Mixon, the 3 J's on offense that can really wear a defense down. And the defense has been really good this year in the second half, because in the second half of games, they've allowed, I think, like 6.7 points per second half. And in case you can't tell, that's really good. Like, that's insanely good. And when you're able to hold teams to that little of points in the second half, and your offense is that good, has those playmakers, like, you're a dangerous team. Not to mention, their offensive line being fixed up also helps a lot. As right now, the Browns are just running the ball down our throats right now. They haven't even passed the ball once. They've ran the ball every single play, and it's working out for them as they're already to the Bengals 28. And they'll give it back to Nick Chubb, who gets a gain of 3 to make it 3rd and 7. Browns are also running hurry up too for some reason. And they're going to hand it off to Nick Chubb again, but this time the Bengals were more than prepared for it, as it will be 4th and 7. And it looks like the Browns will go for it. 4th and 7, Deshaun Watson, he's going to try to pass, but he gets taken down before he can attempt the pass. So the Browns didn't even attempt a pass on that drive. And they could have taken the field goal, but instead they tried to be aggressive and go for it. Did not pay off. Bengals will get the ball. 1st and 10. He's going to go deep to Jamar Chase, and it works out that Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow connection It's been deadly since they were in college, and it's deadly now. As 1st and 10, Joe Burrow dropping back to pass again, or he'll roll out and run as he has a ton of room. He'll get a gain of 20 with his legs to end the first quarter. No scoring in the first quarter. The Browns took up a huge chunk of that first quarter, but on the first play of the second quarter, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase able to get a touchdown and make the extra point. So, yeah, as I was saying, the Browns took up a huge chunk of clock in that first quarter. They just ran the ball every single time, except for the one play where Deshaun Watson got sacked. That was the only non-run on the drive. So, yeah, when you run the ball that much, it's gonna take up a lot of clock, and they're gonna keep running the ball as they give it to Kareem Hunt, who's lined up at fullback. It will be 2nd and 8. And oh yeah, speaking of the Browns, Deshaun Watson is eligible to come back this week. This is week 13, and week 13 is the week that Deshaun Watson is eligible to play, and it's ironically against his old team, the Houston Texans, which, if I'm being honest, the NFL probably rigged that for the narrative, but still should be a good game. See if Deshaun Watson's able to play at the elite level that he was able to do in Houston, playing against Houston. So yeah, that will definitely, it won't be the marquee matchup of the week or anything, but it'll definitely still be an interesting one, as once again they're running the ball like crazy, as Nick Chubb's going to get another good carry here, going to stumble up to the 35 of the Bengals, as they just keep running the ball, and the Bengals have no answers on run defense, as once again they're just going to run it with Kareem Hunt, who's lined up at fullback. Like, dude, come on, pass the ball. Be a little exciting. This is like the most boring game ever, because all they're doing is running the ball, and it's like playing against that is so boring. As they hand it off again, make it 3rd and inches. 3rd and inches. Oh my god, they're going to run the ball again, and they get it, because the Bengals have no run defense. So, yeah, I mean, they're just going to keep running the ball if we can't figure out how to stop this rushing attack, as somehow they just keep getting yards. I'm literally run committing and stuff too, and it's somehow still not enough, as we actually do force Kareem Hunt to lose a yard on that play to make it 3rd and 1. And on 3rd and 1, they're just going to, I guess, take some clock down, and they'll hand it off again to Kareem Hunt, and he did get the first down. Wasn't pretty, but he did get the first down, as for some reason they're running hurry up and then waiting to snap the ball. Like, why would you run hurry up if all you're going to do is chew the clock? As Nick Chubb had a touchdown, but instead he's going to go down at the 1. This is just so agonizing to play against, as Kareem Hunt is going to cap off their drive with a touchdown. And once again, 0 passes, all rushes, and it worked out for them. As they're going to go for 2, is it going to be a rush? Yes, it will. And Kareem Hunt is going to get it. Like, what the hell, Bengals? I thought your defense was supposed to be good. I'm not saying that you should have to stop. I'm not saying that you have to be perfect, but, they're running the ball every single time. You'd think they'd know how to stop it, but no. We're just kind of being left out there to rot. Their defense, that is. Our offense has actually looked okay. It's just the Browns' offense has been able to chew up a ton of clock. Running the ball, and just, yeah, that's what'll happen if they just run the ball like that. It's gonna take a lot of time off the clock, and I'm sure that's exactly what the Browns want, just because they want to keep the Bengals' offense off the field, because that's definitely what their strength is, just because they have all those playmakers, and it's working out for them. As actually Joe Burrow is able to get his X factor, which makes it so when he throws on the run, it's perfectly accurate. As he throws, and nearly picked off. Dangerous pass there, looking for T. Higgins, but instead it will be incomplete. As on 2nd and 10, Joe Burrow's going to just check it down to Joe Mixon. He'll get the first down, but in all actuality, it's not really going to matter. We're going to take the field goal regardless. We don't want to leave points on the board. We'll just take our points because we do get ball at half, so we want to go into half with a lead if we can, and it looks like we will, assuming they don't return this for a touchdown, and they won't, as it will be 10-8 halftime. Weird score, by the way, as the Bengals will get the ball at halftime. Run defense is probably getting killed in the locker room right now just because of how bad they've been playing. Like, I think they have over 150 rushing yards, and that's with them, and that's with the Bengals pretty much knowing that they're running the ball every time, because they haven't passed once. 0 passes. Like, that's actually insane how they're in this game right now. Like, it just shows how bad run defense can hinder a team like the Bengals if, it can't get their shit together. As Jamar Chase, him and Joe Burrow have been doing pretty well in this game. They've connected on a couple of big plays, and note that does not change there as we get another big play from them, as they just keep carrying this offense just because they're unstoppable. Oh my goodness, Hayden Hurst making a good catch there. As I was saying, the Browns, we can't stop their run. The Browns defense can't stop the pass. So I guess it's kind of a fair matchup if you really think about it. As 1st and goal, Joe Burrow's going to try and run it in, but he'll be tackled at the 1 to make it 2nd and goal. And on 2nd and goal, we'll hand it off to Joe Mixon, who gets in for a touchdown. And if we make this extra point, it will be a 2-score game. Kick is up, and it is good. So that's exactly what we want. We want to make the Browns play from behind, because when you have to play from behind, it makes it so running the ball is not exactly what you want to do, just because you want to get a touchdown or a field goal or whatever as fast as you can. You don't want to chew clock when you're down by 2 scores, just because it makes it harder to come back and win. So hopefully this will make it so the Browns are forced to pass, because we cannot stop the run. We just cannot. As 2nd and 9, they'll hand it off again. Dude, come on, pass the ball. This is this is so boring playing this game, just because he just ran the ball every single time. It was so annoying. And it worked. That was the even more annoying part. It's look, right there, he just broke a tackle, got a 1st down. That should not be happening. Come on, Bengals. Come on. Oh yeah, I missed the 1st down. That was a 2-yard run. That's another 2-yard run. So after the pair of 2-yard runs, it will be 3rd and 6. And let me guess, they're going to run the ball. Yep, wow, shocking. I don't know how I was able to guess that, as they're able to pick up the 1st down again, as Nick Chubb having a phenomenal game, as that will end the 3rd quarter. It's surprising they're still choosing to run the ball despite being down by 2 scores. That's fine with me. It'll just chew clocks, 'cause even if they get a touchdown, it's going to chew clock off, and we won't surrender the lead on this drive regardless of what kind of score they get, because you can't score 9 points on a touchdown. So yeah, I'm completely fine with them running the ball. Go ahead. It's not gonna work out in the long run, because you're not gonna have as much time as you would like to have if you keep running the ball like this. As Deshaun Watson finally passes the ball, and it's incomplete. He actually had a guy wide open for a touchdown, but he just didn't see him. As it will be 3rd and 7, as we finally force the Browns to pass, and they're lining up to pass again, and Deshaun Watson throws it directly to Pratt, and Pratt is going to get a big return here, and he's going to get all the way down to the 17, as Deshaun Watson threw an incompletion and an interception on back-to-back plays. So Maybe that's why the Browns never passed the ball. Maybe Deshaun Watson's washed or something. Because he just threw that right to the defender. Like, I don't even know who that was to. All I know is it went to the defender. Just because there was no receiver in the area, and Jermaine Pratt getting an easy catch there as T. Higgins coming back to the ball to get a clutch first down there. As that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. And, yeah, well, honestly, I'm just going to need the ball here. I wanted to get out of this game as soon as possible, so that's the reason I'm needing the ball, despite, them still having their timeouts. So, it will force them to either use their timeouts or let the clock run out or rage quit. We'll see which one happens, as I'm just going to let those seconds tick off, give the Browns a taste of their own medicine. They ran the ball like every single play, and this is why. This is the payback they have to receive because of that. Yeah, Deshaun Watson had 0 passing yards. He literally did nothing in that game. It was literally all Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. But I'm not going to complain too much. We did get the win. That's really all I can ask for. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.